welcome to Something to Talk About.
Hi, welcome to Something to Talk About. My name is Taco, and I'm here filming the exact same day and putting the video out. I don't do that much, but I do it during tournament season because it's freaking tournament season, man. It's March. I can't really call this March Madness because this tournament goes on for 129 days or whatever it is, right? So we only did 1 week of my 128 character Song of Ice and Fire 2025. That's not, those words aren't in the right order, but you know what's going on. The Song of Ice and Fire tournament. This is my week 1 update. In week 1 was just the first round of my Rebels bracket. And a lot of stomps. Starting off with a lot of stomps right away. And I think that's what round 1 kind of should be. I do have better matches, especially in the Legends bracket, because that bracket is so stacked. And the Modern Legends bracket is so stacked. So I do have some really hardcore matches right off the bat. But in a bracket like this, where there is only, 3 or 4 really big hitters, there's going to be a lot of stomps right away in round 1, and that's kind of what happened. So this is, like I said, this is the bracket before we got going. So we're going to work our way all the way through round 1, and then we'll take a look at what I got going on this week. And at the match from today, which I don't have for my update yet because, well, it's still going on. So let's start with the first match. So it was Daemon Blackfyre versus Meleys the Monstrous Blackfyre. And 80-20, a bit of a surprise. I did think Daemon was going to win this, but I didn't think it was going to be this one-sided. And compared to the other matches in this round 1, this isn't one-sided. This is a little less one-sided than a lot of the ones we're getting to. But I thought Meleys, because he's just so crazy strong, that he was going to get more votes. But yeah, I mean, considering the amount of clout that Daemon the First gets, like he's the warrior himself, right? It's stuff people said about him. He does really good. He's got a lot of fans, right? Especially Aegon still down there. So let's look at the top comments. Movie lover fan said Daemon has a Valyrian steel sword. Enough said. Is it enough said? I mean, I don't feel like a Valyrian steel sword. It's definitely a help. But people with Valyrian steel swords could lose. I don't know. I think so. Maybe I'm wrong. But I mean, Robert Baratheon made it to the finals last year against Arthur Dayne. Neither of them had Valyrian steel swords. I know Don's like a space sword. But and probably the original Lightbringer fact, but not really facts. But Robert had a hammer. Valyrian steel sword at all. So whenever people are like, "Oh, Valyrian steel sword," it's like, but yeah, you got a point. One of them has the sword, one of them doesn't. Diego P said the tournament started with a banger. Thank you. Meleys seems to be getting a little disrespected. I thought so too. To me, he is capable to give anyone a run for their money. Having said that, Daemon Blackfyre is just like right at the top of the entire lore when it comes to fighting skills. Yeah, I think Diego kind of put it exactly how I wanted to put it. Meleys is no slouch, but when you're talking about the top tier, Daemon's probably in that, if not knocking on the door of that top tier. When I say top tier, I'm saying, your Arthur Daynes, your Barristan Selmys, your Jaimes with 2 hands, that top tier. And I think Daemon's in that. Your Maegors, right? So yeah, Meleys is no slouch, but what are you messing with here? So envy of a malcontent. I really hope that's not code for anything, because that's just gibberish to me. The sword is the kingdom. Daemon, king. See, man, they love that sword. And they love that he's the rightful king. Just like Aegon Bittersteel, which of course he's in this bracket. So since he's a big big favorite here on the channel. He's always in my comments. I love Aegor. And the fact that he's actually in a fight I'm about to talk about here soon, I was pretty excited. But this is the first time he's popping up in my comments, just King Daemon Blackfyre. Yeah, you Blackfyre supporters. I feel like Daemon's going to do really good, might even win this bracket, just because my fandom, my commenters are very, very Blackfyre supporters. I'm not, but it's fine. Black Tom versus Fireball. Speaking of Blackfyre supporters, so I wanted to kind of get, the way I put this one together was kind of the two main supporters of the Blackfyre, right? So like Quentin Ball was like a really good fighter who supported the first Blackfyre rebellion, and Black Tom Hiddle is a really good fighter, kind of a savage bastard, who supported the second Blackfyre rebellion. And you can see where it went. Again, I didn't think this would be this much of a stop, but people like Fireball. I think Fireball's going to do really good, and I can't wait for this round 2 match. But yeah, let's get into it. Kevin Nutzling said, I give this one a Fireball. He was a master at arms for Red, and famously slayed all the sons of Lady Penrose, bearing the youngest. He played a large role in training Daemon Blackfyre, became a famously skilled warrior. Tom Hiddle was definitely skilled, but was defeated by a relatively young and inexperienced Duncan the Tall. This wasn't the legendary commander, or who wasn't even a legendary commander yet. You have a point. You do got to look at how this fight went, and it was young Dunk's style, where he tries to match skilled swordsmen with skilled swords fighting. And when he realized that that wasn't going to work with Black Tom, because Black Tom's really good, he bashed him with the shield pretty much. He's like, no, I'm just going to push through your defenses. And he literally, like, shield bashed him to death, which is hardcore. So it's not like his skills lost that fight, because Dunk didn't win with skill. But you should be able, if you're an extremely skilled fighter, be able to handle somebody who is lesser skilled, who's just really strong. But yeah, we could see where it went. People definitely went with Quentin Fireball. So now, friend of the channel, man of many cats, I got a 10 on the redhead. That's Fireball. All right. Well, I hope somebody took up that bet, because he would have won $10. What's up, Brandon? Rebel Lord Terran, how's it going, man? I love Lord Terran. He used to be Lord Terran in Texas. Then he was now he's Rebel Lord Terran. So he's, I don't know. He's changing his affiliations, but or his adjectives, but he's always a Lord. Yeah, Fireball. That's all he said. So lots of support for Fireball. So that's why it's gonna be Daemon Blackfyre and Fireball for round 2. He's gonna kick butt. Gorman Peak versus the Roger the Red Lion. So Gorman Peak was another big supporter of Daemon II Blackfyre. And Roger Rain, the Red Lion, he kind of gained a lot of acclaim during the Peak Uprising, right? And he helped take down the Peaks. But also he had a little bit of his own revolt, right, in the Rain Tarbeck revolt. So and also, people are going to say it, but that art is so good for Roger, the Red Lion Rain, that, I have to use it. So Gorman Peak, 15% only, and then Roger beat him with 85. Lazy Boy said that Lord Gorman survived the hammer and the anvil upon the red grass field, and he's not getting enough credit. No, you're right. He's not. I think Gorman Peak's definitely better than a lot of people give him credit for, but I think the fact that we didn't actually see him do a lot of fighting. But, I mean, if you look at the art in the graphic novel for Mystery Knight, he's just swole. He's like this, like he just looks like he's so mean and just tough. Like, yeah, I love that art for him. Grant Campbell said, not a snowball's chance, Gormy. Roger all day. Yeah, poor Gormy Peak. And then Kevin Nutzling, again, Roger Rain was considered one of the deadliest warriors of his time. He survived the Peak Uprising. Slider captured Peaks to avenge his father. Skillfully commanded the Western forces of the War of the Nine Petty Kings after Jason Lannister died. In a more questionably canon source, he led a party of men and slew Marbrand men. A party of men and slew Marbrand men, and had been sent by the crown to arrest his sisters and husbands. All that skill couldn't save him from a crossbow bolt or a flood. Yeah, he got hit with a crossbow bolt and then ran away and then got flooded during the Reigns of Casimir, right? During that whole event. That comment by Kevin kind of got to a big Discord. There was a lot of comments underneath it, and a lot of people kind of questioned why he brought up that he slaughtered captives. Like, that doesn't make you better. And he's like, no, I think I was just trying to show you that he's a cold-hearted bastard and won't hold back. I think that showed Roger's accolades really well, and it explains why he won over Gorman Peak. I think the problem is we just don't know enough about Gorman Peak, and that's a big thing in these round ones. Is, in all honesty, if I just did a Song of Ice and Fire tournament of characters we know how they fight, it would be 128, right? It would be a lot closer to 64, but I then would be leaving some on the table. So you got to do more and then kind of fill in the gaps with these goofy ones. And who knows? I'm still waiting for the day that one of these, kind of, no one really knows who they are, these kind of more skier guys I toss in to make a run. And it looks like Roger's going to do it this year, but yeah, Gormy ain't. That's it. All right. The Laughing Storm versus Aegon the Uncrowned. Is that? Yeah, that's the next match. Definitely a mismatch on my part, and I knew it going in. I had them both in this bracket. I kind of put the brackets together before I put the fights together. And then I was like, I had Lionel versus Robert, but I think I did that last year. And then I had Lionel versus somebody else, and I had Damon the Second versus Aegon the Uncrowned, and I don't know. It ended this way. And when I looked at this bracket when it was done, I went, it's gonna be a stop. Whatever. I wanted Aegon the Uncrowned in there, and I do think that he gets a bad rep because he's considered a good fighter. He is. If you read it, they're he's nothing like his dad. Innie's is weak. Aegon is not. But everyone thinks they all kind of follow the Faith of the Seven propaganda. He's just like his dad, but we hear in the books that he's not. So I thought he'd do a little better. No, he got stopped. 93-7. Lionel the Laughing Storm Baratheon just beat him down. And Ginger Grant said, if only Aegon had a dragon, has his dragon. Yeah, if he had, was it Quicksilver? If he had Quicksilver with, I think he'd do a little better. I don't know if he'd win, but he'd do a little better. And then Spencer Blake said that this really should remain 100%. Well, nope. Looks like about 14 or 15 people disagreed with you. And then Efren T said match 4 of 127. I don't know if I'm doing my math wrong or if you're doing your math wrong because it's 128, or if you're making a joke. I'm not really sure, but you were doing that a lot. But yeah, poor Aegon, first Maegor, now Lionel, the Laughing Storm. Only with Quicksilver would he win this match. Yeah, a lot of people are like, does it get his back? I don't want to have to put in my explanation because it's who would win this match. Do I need to say no dragons allowed? Maybe I should for the Cabannans who actually have dragons. So yeah, poor Aegon the Uncrowned. I really hoped you showed up a little more, but you didn't. Jonathan Conathan, versus Aegor Binderstill Rivers. Yeah, I didn't think this was gonna be this, but but here we are. It's another Stomp City. 92 for Bittersteel over John Kahn's 8. I thought John Kahn would put up a little bit of a fight because I know he's a fan favorite, but it looks like even though he's a fan favorite, people don't he's loved in the community. John Kahn is, but apparently even the people who love him know he ain't that good of a fighter. So Aegon Bittersteel himself said, I think we all know who would win this. Right, Aegon. Sniffing your own brand. William Rice said, poor Quinn, his boy is getting stopped. I believe that's a reference to Quinn the GM, another YouTuber, and I know that he loves John Connington. So, yeah. And then I Forgot My Name said, Aegon's victory is as good as gold, and John's fate is set in stone. In stone? You get it? I thought it was really clever. Good job, I Forgot My Name. And then Ia Mati said, I've been disagreeing with these twos, but I think they meant polls, but this seems pretty obvious. You've been disagreeing with these stomps? Maybe you're like the few people. Then, get with it, Marty, because I love it. I mean, not get with it. Keep doing what you're doing, because I'm glad that there's somebody who is championing for the underdogs here. So, yeah, man, I like you. I like you. E. All right. We only got a couple left. So, Prime, Bobby Baratheon versus Hugh Hammer. Again, another stomp. I thought this would be a little more equal just because they're huge dudes with hammers. But no, man. People love their Bobby B. So, yeah, 95-5. Diego P. said, oh, yeah, the true winner of last year's tournament. Based on his previous performance, I expect Robert to possibly take it all the way. However, if Kristen Cole or Argilac end up winning, it would be just as good. I don't think Kristen Cole or Argilac are going to do uber good, which sucks because I would love Argilac to make a run. But I don't see that happening. Is he in my next one? Yeah, who do I got against? Visenya. Well, you might beat Visenya. Maybe. I don't know. Visenya is kind of hardcore. And then Kristen Cole I got in here too, right? Oh, no, I think I got him in Soiled Knights and Killers. I don't know. We'll see. I would love for either of them to make a run. But, yeah, Bobby B, as I already discussed, it was the runner-up against Arthur Dayne last year. And since Arthur Dayne isn't in this bracket, I know, that, I don't know, maybe Bobby is going to do really good. But in order to get out of the Rebels bracket, he does have to beat Daemon Blackfyre if Daemon Blackfyre makes it all the way. And I think the big problem on that side is either Daemon Blackfyre or Quentin Ball. And Bobby B has to then make it through on the other side. Aegor Rivers, I think, is his biggest threat on this side too. So if he makes it through Bittersteel next round, I'm gonna put it this way: if he makes it out of this bracket, he's probably gonna go to the finals. That's what I'm gonna say. If he makes it through heavy hitters like Aegor and Daemon Blackfyre, he's probably going to make it all the way to the finals. All right. And then Mikey M just said, bro, what? Who said Hugh Hammer? Well, like 15 people. Surprised me too. Shane Plus said, does Hugh have his dragon? No, he does not have his dragon. If Hugh had Vermithor, the match would not be fair. I love Bobby B, but I don't think any humans beating Vermithor. I don't think any humans beat any dragon, but maybe you're gonna beat Quicksilver. You're beating the Bronze Beast. there's levels to these dragons. And Vermithor's a little more hardcore, especially later in his life when Hugh Hammer was on him. So yeah. The Young Wolf, Robb Stark versus Dagon the Last Reaver Greyjoy. I was super excited for this one. It stinks I couldn't get any art for the Last Reaver, so I just went with the sigil. And normally when you just go with the sigil, they don't win. And he did. It was close, though. So maybe he won't be doing too great in the next round. But, 67% over 33. So Dagon, the Last Reaver, Greyjoy did win. Kevin Nutzling said the Ironborn plays a lot of value in strength and battle prowess. Anyone able to command a bulk of the Ironborn in a focused effort for that long has to be formidable. Robb was a better horseman and commander with his sword. John was superior. And John was the better swordsman, Robb was a better horseman, right? He knew his own limits when it came to individual combat. I think Dagon would win, though Robb would put up a decent fight. Yeah, absolutely. Spencer Blake said, I feel Robb's victories come down to his intellect and strategy. He's no slouch with a sword, no doubt, but I fear Greyjoy, the Greyjoy who personally took part in so many sieges and claimed the Ironborn's allegiance must have been a better warrior. Yeah, there's just so much speculation for Dagon Greyjoy, and as you could tell, I just kind of needed another rebel, and Dagon's another rebel, and I wanted to have a non-Blackfyre, rebel in here, and I really needed it. It was either going to be him or Balon, and we even know less about Balon's actual fighting. We never see Balon Greyjoy actually fight, so that's why I went with Dagon, and I'm glad he got a win. And everything they were saying about Robb is, Robb's not really known for being the greatest fighter. He's an amazing strategist, though. But he's also no slouch. I don't think anyone considers Robb Stark a slouch when it comes to fighting. He's just not. He's not really past that normal tier of highborn, fighters, right? You get what I'm saying? Like people who grew up with a Master at Arms, grew up fighting with the best armor, with the best swords, with the best trainers. They're always going to kind of have there's a blanket how good they are, and he doesn't really bust out of that average, I don't think. But yeah, okay. Daemon the Second Blackfyre versus Daemon, spelled differently, Morrigan the Devout. So Daemon the Devout. I love this match. Before we get going, I'm glad I thought about Daemon the Devout because he wasn't in last year. And like I said, I wanted a non-Blackfyre. I wanted a different type of rebel. And the Faith Militant Uprising was right for the taking. And I wanted the main one, the guy who took on Maegor the Cruel and did pretty good. He lost, but he did pretty freaking good against them. And it's really cool that he got that win. Also, I think Daemon II's kind of not great. So we'll see how this. I'm really interested of how, because both Dagon and Daemon Morrigan both didn't win super great. So I'm really curious about round 2 with those two. But anyways, Daemon II Blackfyre only got 36% against Damon Morrigan 64. So Daemon won. Lazy Boy said he does not bear the sword. If he is his father's son, Bitter still would have armed him with Blackfyre. I think it's less that he was not his father's son, and I think it was more that he was gay. I think Aegor is just a homophobic jerk. I don't know. That's speculation on my part, but I do think that's what it is. But or because he thought that there was no chance in this rebellion. That might also be it. It's like, hey, we got a little tourney here. We're gonna throw a little rebellion, and he's like, no. Not doing that. And it wouldn't even have worked if Aegor backed him and the Golden Company showed up at the tournament. Everyone would know what was going on. So, yeah, I think it was more of just bad plan, and he's not going to join. And also, I think it's because Daemon was gay and Aegor, but that's just speculation. I have no basis of that argument. But I think it's less that he wasn't his father's son. Yeah. I mean, because he was literally his father's son, but I don't even mean father's son, like his father. All right. Irish Potato Thief, what's up, yo? Damon's magnetic personality and stellar good looks are going to win the day. Can't stop the smolder. Apparently it didn't, but he tried. I think his stunning good looks and a magnetic personality earn him that 36, because I don't think his skill got him that 36%. But yeah, Kevin Nutzling said, I'm inclined to say Daemon. We don't get a lot of specific sword feats from either here, but Daemon was a leader of the Warrior Sons, and was one of the last 2 when facing Maegor's trial by 7. Daemon obviously had training, but he clearly was in over his head when it came to combat. Yeah, he lost to Glennon Ball, who is later on in the tourney, by the way. But yeah, like a really good jouster and a really good fighter beat him. So he's not in that upper echelon. And Damon Morrigan might be. Like, I think being in a trial of 7 that every single person dies in, except for Maegor, who was the greatest fighter of his era, and he pretty much almost died too. Like, he probably would have died if there wasn't some sorcery going on, right? So, yeah, I don't think you could fault Daemon at all. If Daemon died in the first blow, was it like Dick Bean who died right away, right? But the fact that he survived and he was still like wounded, and he's like, all right, Maegor, let's go. Like the last 3, and Maegor just like gets impaled at the same time he impales somebody, like, you know, just barely lives. Because like everyone thought everyone died. And then Visenya runs up, hears Maegor breathing, and she's like, that king lives. She might have heard Daemon breathing too, and she's like, the king lives. It's like, oh, shut up, Daemon. Helping you. If somebody called a medic for Damon Morrigan, he might have lived, is what I'm saying. I'm saying you can't fault the guy for losing that fight, because that was probably one of the most intense type of combat in the Westeros has ever seen. Right? So, okay. Yeah, that was the first bracket. So let's look at the first round of the first bracket, first week. Let's look at the results. And yeah, Daemon Blackfyre versus Quentin Ball is going to be next round. Roger Rain versus Lionel Baratheon. God, these matches are really good. Aegon Bittersteel versus Robert Baratheon. Dagon Greyjoy versus Damon Morrigan. There's still a couple kind of lower tier guys here, but there's a lot of really good. Like I think 3 out of these 4 matches I think are really good, and then Dagon and Damon are kind of fun. Who knows? I don't think Damon or Dagon are going to win over Aegon Rivers or Bittersteel or Robert Baratheon, but who knows? Okay, so then going on right now, starting today, we're getting into the round 1 of the second bracket, and that's my Legends bracket. And Ryan Redwine is currently going against Gerald Hightower and getting robbed. Okay, Gerald's winning at the time of me filming this, and you guys are robbed. I can't do anything about it. I'm just watching it happen, and I'm like, no way. Ryan Redwine? Yeah. I was so tempted to like make like 5 ghost accounts and just spam the comments, but I vote once like everybody else. But yeah, I'm really sad. Like, I can't believe Ryan's losing. All right, we'll talk about that more in my next update. And then you got John Quildart versus Ares Baratheon, Aemon the Dragonite versus Eric Cargill, Rhaegar Targaryen versus Daeron the First Targaryen. Yeah, that's gonna be a good one. Visenya versus Argalak Durandon, which we talked about. Low-key, my favorite fight is the Bloody Ben Blackwood versus Savage Sam Tarly. That is so good. And then Cregan Stark versus the Red Kraken Greyjoy, Dalton Greyjoy. And Aegon the First versus Jaehaerys the First. Man, this Legends bracket is nuts. It's nuts. I can't wait. It's gonna be a good one. Ryan Redwine should have won the whole thing. Get washed. You know, so I'll call now. So I'm glad I can get this out for you guys. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do one of these every week. I know I won't be able to do one of these every week. I am extremely busy right now, but I'm doing my best to give you guys the amount of content that I know that you come to expect from my channel, which is a lot of content. And yeah, got a lot of stuff going on, and I'm gonna do my best to still try to sneak these in. But there might be a few times when I'm covering multiple weeks at once. But we'll get to that when we get to it. What are you thinking of the tournament so far? Click like and subscribe to keep track of this tournament. Be sure to vote. And yeah, peace.